continue from there. Just give me a second to click on all the things I need to. All right. I'll take my mic off push to talk so you can hear me speak. All right. So this is the new series that I am doing for Dungeons & Dragons. It is based in 2nd edition with a couple of homebrew rules like perception. In addition, you'll see the others as we go through it here. But I'll be running a variety of solo campaigns based with my players that I have played with in the past. Perhaps as we go forward, I might play with new people that I network with. But for now, my first player is going to be my buddy here, Teo. How you doing, Teo?
Hey, what's up?
And I guess we will start this campaign off. And where we start is kind of gently gliding into this port from the sea. And as you do, you can smell the nice salt air and the mixture of fish and oysters come kind of like perfuating off of the docks as you pull into this port. Before you see this walled town. It's pretty nondescript, probably compared to your history, as we'll introduce your character here in a second. It's pretty plain. There's plenty of wooden buildings kind of littering the front of the port. You see a couple other ships pulling in. A lot of lumber seems to be pulled on and off of ships as you stare off at the city. And you start to pull up, and who do we see kind of maybe on the bow of this ship as we pull in to this port? Who are we looking at?
My character, right?
Yes, your character. Yeah.
All right. So my character is Elred the Shaper. He is a Grey Elf, about 5'8", 120 pounds, cloaked in black robes with a large leather-bound book, safely like nestled between his arms, as he kind of just like looks towards the city with like glassy eyes, kind of very, very unimpressed. He has been living with the dwarves for quite some time, so it would be very hard to impress him with architecture. As seeing as the dwarves are probably the best at that.
Yes, you've probably seen some of the most beautiful architecture this earth has to offer. Excuse me. And you're pulling in. Your ship captain looks to you. He goes, "Hey, it's just stop." And he pulls a couple crew members, and they put the gangplank down and look at you expectingly for you to get off the ship and walk into this port town that you have.
I meet their expectations expeditiously.
Was it a comfortable voyage? Did you like the open sea, or was it more of a kind of a forced endeavor?
No, I mostly stayed inside as much as I could help it, and I just, ignored everyone, concentrated on my book and studying and stuff. Didn't really talk to sailors, other than idle, idle talk, but nothing deeper than how's your job? Like, what's going on today? When's breakfast? Type of deal.
Yeah, so they probably leave you on a very quiet note, other than just waving you off, asking if you need anything else, and you walk off the gangplank. And as you do, you smell those oysters and the fish that I mentioned before, that sea air kind of flowing through. You hear a small boy, and you see him walking through this kind of very busy dock. And he goes, "Oysters! Oysters here! Come get your oysters!" And he's walking about trying to pawn them off to whoever. And you walk here. Why are you here? What do you want out of Wakeport? Is it a stop on the road, or is it your new home? What is it?
I would say, being an adventurer, it is everywhere is a stop, right? But for a while, right, it could be like my base of operations. I'm here primarily to learn about history of the humans. Um, Humans are very diverse, and they're like all over the place. So I'll start here. But yeah, like it's just a learning exercise, and I don't think I've ever had an oyster before. So I will go and get one.
Okay, the boy asks you for a silver if you just get a couple oysters, and I suppose you hand it to him. Give him the silver. And he hands you oysters, and I assume you try them.
I look at it and it's raw, and I'm just
Yes.
like, well, I know generally you don't eat raw food, so
It's slimy. It's kind of like slippery. It smells very pungent. The boy goes to you and goes, "Yeah, you don't look." He looks around the docks, and you only see humans. You don't look very familiar here, do ya? You need some.
suppose not.
You just eat that. It's gobble it up. It's great.
I can just eat it like this.
Yeah. You never had oysters or anything like it?
I'm not from the sea,
Where are you from?
the mountains. There are rarely oysters there.
Are you friends with the dwarves?
Yeah, I have some dwarven friends.
Are you a dwarf? He looks at you suspiciously.
No. They're all shorter, I guess stockier. Yeah, definitely not a dwarf.
The boy looks concerned. He goes, I thought they were smaller. That's what I heard, at least. He kind of looks at you quizzically. Well, there's a lot to do here in Wakeport. There's the temple. Well, that's about it, actually. Everything else is pretty normal. I guess maybe not for you. Oh, there's a good tavern. Have you ever been to a tavern, mister?
I have many taverns, probably the best taverns ever. But what?
Have you ever tasted salty salmon? At the
I
salty
have
salmon.
not.
It's so good, okay? You gotta try it. Can I get a perception check as you're talking to the small boy?
Sure, my perception is 14, so that would be a +2, right?
Just do plus 14. And you're looking for a 21 or higher. 25 is great. Oh my god. Okay.
All right, what do my elf see?
You're sitting here talking to this boy. People on around you on the docks are pretty calm. You see a couple of guards here and there. But as this is happening, you hear this like little chirping. And it just, and as you peer over to your left, you see out of a small grate, kind of positioned to where you imagine either water flows into or out of. You're not really sure what the use of this grate is for. You see a small swarm of rats, maybe 10 or so rats, kind of go out of the sewer and begin to slowly creep towards one of the guards positioned here on the docks. And since you've got such a good perception check, this is a massive success. You've been able to spot them before anyone else. Do you do anything?
I don't know if I know. Okay. Yeah, I yell out. Look, rats.
Okay, you see
And
this. Oh, what do you do?
I just point them out.
Okay, you point them out. You yell. This guard looks to you. Rats just looks around, confused, and before you know it, these rats just start to descend on his legs as he is caught by surprise still, unfortunately not spotting these rats because of the busy docks and how many people there are. And they go and nip at his heels. Ooh, and they miss terribly. You see these rats begin to swarm around his legs, try and nip at him, and he begins to kind of do battle with them. Do you join in on this combat at all, or do you just watch as the spectacle occurs? Is my question here for you.
What is are there any, like, this is during the day, I'm assuming, right?
Yes. It's a very strange occurrence.
No, like, torches or anything. Man, it'll be I'm looking for something like a handle I can use to like a, I don't know, like an oar. It's a dock, right? Like maybe I can find a straight oar and just start batting the rats.
So you're looking for a stick just to whack the rats.
Yeah, because I like, I don't think it'd be I only have a bow, and I don't think it'd be a smart idea to try to hit rats with the bow.
So you go and grab a paddle. There's an oar you can find. A sailor goes, "What the hell?" As you grab his oar, you manage to do it, and you go over. Can you give me a D10 for your initiative? The rats are going at 7. So for now, we're going to start with simple initiative till we get... Oh, my lord. Okay, give me a D20, and you are an unproficient wizard, meaning you get a -5 penalty, but go ahead and try. Try and whack one of these rats. Oh, that is a good parallel to that natural 20. All right, so this is the campaign so far. We have a natural 20 and now a natural 1. That's on our 2 D20s. All right. So you go to whack the rats. You take this big oar and you go to slap it, and it just shifts, and you end up kind of floating that oar towards the guard's leg. And I need you to give me another D20 for save versus death to see if you whack this innocent guard's leg from under him as he tries to bat off these rats himself. That's a failure on a save versus death. So you go to do this, and you whack the guard's leg. Can I get a D4 for an improvised weapon as you whack into the side of his leg? And pray he rolls good on his HP and doesn't get knocked.
My God.
Oh God, maximum damage. Let me find a D8. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, he has 1 HP. You whack the guard's leg with the oar. You take his feet out from under him, and he smacks his head on the back of the dock. And it's there's stone and wood, but you catch a part of the dock here where it's turned to cobbled stone, and his head smashes against it. You see a pool of blood begin to form as the rats descend on him and begin to devour him. And the rats will take their turn attacking this man once again, with major bonuses for him being unconscious and prone. And they will do... Let me see here. Oh dear. What have you done to him?
God.
Oh, God. Okay. You see them just tear at his skin. They rip off his shirt, and they start nibbling on his ribs. It'll go around to you again as people start to scatter. You hear screams. They go, "Ah! Help! 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 Help!" You know, the crowd scatters, and it's just you facing this guard. You've kicked the oar from under him, and you do catch a glimpse behind you about a couple, probably 20 or 30 yards away. A guardsman begin to rush over. He's got his leather armor on, and he's kind of lifting his belt, trying to hold his pants up. He's a little scrawny guy, but he's rushing over to maybe aid his friend or slay the rats, or maybe go after you after what you just did. Who knows? But it's your turn now in the combat once again.
I am going to keep trying to hit the rats.
Give me another D20 -5. Oh my God. Okay, it's not a natural one though. You go to slap these rats and you're just missing. This oar is heavy. You're a scrawny kind of guy, and you're not in good shape. And this is very exhilarating, and you're kind of catching your breath as you try and lift this oar. You get one good slap off during this round on the ground, but it doesn't hit any rats. You end up hitting the guy's body again, trying to scatter them off of him. It doesn't do any damage, but
like a swarm would be easy to hit, right?
it is base 10 AC, just for as a note here. But you're not hitting them. All right, so you continue to slap these rats. Alongside you comes a guardsman, and he pulls out a spear, and he goes to stab at the rats. Seeing you try to help his friend, he will hit the rats. D6. There we go. Oh my lord. Okay, that's a lot of damage. So he takes his spear and just slams into 2 rats in this swarm, and they just fall to the ground. And the rats, on their turn, will begin to flee, seeing the losses as undesirable. Can I get an attack of opportunity from you with your oar, since you are in melee range against these rats?
Yeah, I hit.
You do. Give me damage on this oar. It's D4 for an improvised weapon. 3 damage. You end up wiping out the couple of rats that are left with your oar. You kind of do a side swipe against the ground, wrecking your oar against the cobblestone. You see parts of it begin to chip off, and you slap a rat against the back and slap another one as you kind of glide like it's a hockey, like they're hockey pucks. You know what I'm saying? Like you're playing hockey, you go for a sweeper, slap them across the docks, and they squeal, but they fall. And if there are any rats left, they flee into the sewers, but this swarm has been defeated. And you look around, there's a guard on the ground. He's kind of bleeding out. His friend looks to you, he looks at his friend, he's like, looks you up and down. Are you wearing robes? What clothing are you wearing? What do you look like?
Robes.
Black robes. Do you have anything that would notify you as a spellcaster, make you look like a learned man? Is there anything?
My glasses.
Grab a healer, he calls out. Someone go get a healer, please. And you see the boy who is serving you oysters run off, going to perceivably help with that. So he runs off into the distance. Do you do anything?
Do I have any skills that can help?
That's a good question.
I only know how to debate people. What?
Do you debate him out of his wounds?
I wish. No, I simply just like do basic first aid and just like, like turn him over on his side, make sure he's breathing, that kind of thing.
You put him into the recovery position as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I just kind of like, sit near him and, hopefully he doesn't die because of me.
All right. You kind of sit around there for a moment. He clearly is not doing well. His breathing is shallow. He looks very injured, and eventually the healer gets there, but by the time he does, you see the man has definitely passed away. Probably not from your wound. You're guessing you probably just knocked him unconscious just by giving him a once-over, although you can't really be sure. You're not a doctor, right? You're not a healer, are you? I believe you are.
No.
Okay. Well, this guardsman comes along with the doctor, and he looks you over and he goes, well, thanks for helping there, I suppose.
I just kind of stay silent.
Looks you over. What are you? Are you an elf? He looks at your
I don't
ears.
know. No.
You're a Fey folk.
Of sorts, yes.
Do you got the gift?
The gift of what? Sorry, there are many gifts.
The the magic. You got the magic.
How do people feel about spellcasters in general?
How much research did you do on this land before you sailed off? The dwarves generally aren't a fan of spellcasters, but you worked your way in through your deep knowledge of dwarven runes and your interest in their culture.
All right. Yeah, I have lore. Can I kind of roll that to get a general idea?
Give me an intelligence check. With that lore proficiency, you can definitely do it.
So what would I roll for the check?
You'll do your intelligence score, so you'll do a d20 plus your intelligence. And you're looking for 21 or higher. 25 or higher is a greater success. 30 is, oh my god, what did you do?
Okay, does my proficiency matter at all? Or it just lets me roll straight?
Your proficiency lets you roll straight. You'd get a -4 if you were not proficient. Ooh. You're a little unsure. The research you did was kind of a little suspect. The dwarves who would talk to you about it usually mentioned there's spellcasters there, but you're not sure what condition they're under. You do know they are present in these lands. There are spellcasters, but they are very rare, and beyond that, you're not sure how much skepticism they're viewed with, or how much trust is put to them. You definitely know they exist in these lands, though. They're not extinguished at sight. Okay? He looks you up and down as you sit there in silence.
I say, yes, I have the gift.
He narrows his eyes, looks at you. You might feel a little tinge go through your back as the hairs stand up. He goes, "Oh, thank goodness." Gives a big smile. "We've been needing a wizard here for a while. You see these rats? That's unusual, right?
Very much so, yes.
You should talk to the sheriff. He would love to see you. You see, there's this issue we got. These rats been coming out here, attacking villages, attacking townsfolk, making it really hard to conduct business. People don't want to stay at our taverns. People having to board up under their doors so that there's no cracks. And hell, that's a hard job. We need some help from you, boss. You willing to come help us out with this here problem?"
Of course.
Became Western suddenly, but
I will for sure help you. I'm indebted anyways, as I just kind of look over to the the guard who is bleeding all over the floor. So, where's your sheriff?
he's over at the tavern. We're planning out how we deal with this here situation still. He's sending people over.
Yeah, rats are not good. If I recall, they spread diseases, and that's the least of the attacks are the least of your worries.
What'd you say, Bruce? The
Do these
taxes are
people?
least of our worries?
No, yeah, as in the like the rats spread the plague and all sorts of sicknesses. They're generally bad omens.
He looks concerned. You think we're cursed by the gods? Is that your or we're diseased?
Not by the gods. Definitely something's going on, and as a wizard, I will see to it if there is any magical issues afoot. Seems very, very abnormal.
That's That's not good. All right. Well, come with me.
Yeah.
You need to talk to the sheriff about a big hoss.
Of course.
All right, come on. He leads you over to a dockside tavern. Slams open the door. Inside, you see most of the patrons in this tavern have cleared. In the middle of the room, there's just a large kind of mead table, and you see a variety of different men sit around it in leather armor. Most of them have spears. And as you walk up, you get a nod from this old man with large hanging jowls. And he's got chainmail on, he's got a short sword at his side, and he's got very, very gray hair. And this oldish man, he's old for human years, probably much younger than you, looks at you and goes, "Oi, who'd you bring me, boy?" And the guardsman speaks up. He goes, "It's this man is he's got the gift. He's got the magic. He can help us. He says that we're cursed by the gods or something. No, what'd you say, mister? What's our problem here?"
Your problem is clearly rats.
Well, okay.
The issue is that these rats are so they're acting very oddly, and I am very suspicious to why they're acting this way.
You got any guidance for us? The older man speaks up.
I do have some skills and that could help in this situation.
What could you do for us?
I would like some information. When did this start?
This has been going on for a month or so now. The rats will come out of the sewers every once in a while and attack a passerby.
And did anything happen last month that you think would change the situation? Anything strange?
Last month or so, there's only a couple things that happened. The Count's father passed away, and his son's now in charge. He's the current Count. And that was maybe 2 weeks before this all started. Our first attacks really happened. It's very noticeable when rats start coming out of the ground and attacking villagers. What's your name, by the way? I don't think I got your...
My name is Elred.
Elred. And you're an elf?
Yes, Elred the elf.
I've seen some of your folk out in the woods once. They weren't gray, though.
Yes, our people are much more elusive. We like to stay in the mountains.
Well, alrighty. I hope that's not too much of a problem. You're still gifted in the magic and whatnot.
Yes, I am.
All right.
I would begin to cast a spell.
Okay.
I will cast armor.
You begin to cast a spell. The men in the room look very suspicious. They're like, what's going on? And you get the spell off, but you see them kind of brace their weapons a little bit when they see you start casting the spell. Look suspiciously at you.
I'm sorry. I simply thought a demonstration was appropriate, in case you doubted my abilities.
No, we certainly don't now. Looks at you, not seeing major differences. There's maybe a slight glimmer where your magic field has kind of appeared before you. And you now have armor. Which puts your AC up to, I believe you get a dex bonus, don't you? So it'd be 14 plus 2, so you are at 16 AC currently with armor.
Well, that's pretty good.
Sheriff looks at you. He goes, "There's been a number of attacks throughout the city. If you'd like me to point them out, I could enlighten you."
Yes, please. Where exactly?
All right. Here we go. He points towards the center. He goes, "There's been a number of attacks, and they started around here, towards the middle of the temple." Excuse my terrible X there. Right about there. Then the attacks started spreading, with a number of them coming out here towards the docks. Right here and about here. Now, there's been scattered attacks all throughout the city otherwise, but nothing too noteworthy besides those 3 locations. Otherwise, they've been sporadic and all over the place, but there's been a uncomfortable concentration of attacks in these 3 spots.
I'd like to go to the temple.
Okay. You begin walking out of the tavern. The guardsman nods towards you, the guard captain of sorts. You also get a follower along with you, as the guard that helped fight off the rats follows you. He goes, "I'll just stay with you, help with the investigation, if that's all right with you, boss."
Of course. You've been of great help.
It's nothing about you. It's, the townsfolk, they see someone like you walking around asking questions. They don't always,
Understandable. This happened when I first met the dwarves. They were very suspicious as well. I understand.
Name's Mikey, by the way, if you were at all curious of my name. And you two walk over to the temple, unless you have anything else to ask him.
I don't. I'm pretty silent. Just kind of like observing everything and just being careful all around.
As you walk through the town, you walk through a smatter of buildings before you get to the temple, and you see more signs of people have kind of nailed down their doors to make sure that there's no way rats could get in easily, at least. They might have to chew their way through or find some other way in. And you continue through this place, kind of looking around. And it's not too bad. It's a nice little town. You see a variety of smattering of shops. And you see an inn and a tavern here or there, but eventually you get to this middle section and you see a large marble temple kind of standing out, as most of these other buildings have been wooden.
I didn't see any any sort of symbols or statues to indicate like who this temple is dedicated to.
Yeah, you see on the outside of the temple there is a symbol to Vilcata, which is, I believe, if I am correct, the essence of life. So it's a temple to life.
Interesting.
So that would be kind of large, I believe. Is it open hands, if I'm correct? Yes. So at the kind of base of the temple, on either side, there's these large ceremonial stone hands kind of braced open towards the sky. And you would recognize that as the symbol to Vilcata. Beyond that, you need a religion proficiency if you want to ask any more questions, but you do recognize the goddess Vilcata, or the essence, as they would call her.
Interesting. Well, I make my way to the temple, into the temple.
Okay. You do it. You walk in, you see some patrons, most of them sick, coughing on a couple pews laid out for them to lay upon, and towards the front of the temple, again, you see more of this open hand symbolism and some nice places where some stained glass windows have been crafted to let in a kind of spectrum of colors into the temple. And as you walk towards the front altar, you see a woman, probably around her 30s. And she appears to be robed and wearing a holy symbol to that goddess around her neck, which is, again, the open hands. She's quite beautiful. She's long blonde hair.
No, she's 30. She can't be beautiful. Impossible.
She's too old for the 180-year-old elf. Oh, wait, no, 40. Sorry, 140-year-old elf.
Aged very well, thank you very much.
You age like fine wine, but she apparently did not. Okay, I see.
Anyway, I walk slowly towards her, and I introduce myself as Alred the Shaper. And I kind of just give her, before she even introduces herself, I know it's quite rude, but I feel it's urgent to just tell her that, like, I'm investigating the rat problem.
Oh. Well, okay. You're a detective?
Yes. And a shaper of magic.
Of what division do you practice?
The awesome division.
She nods. Well, okay, the awesome division.
What does she mean by division? Can
Your
I?
school. She's asking for your school.
I am a conjurer.
You create things out of nothing. Bring forth your creations to the world.
Well, yes, nothing.
We are kindred spirits. The mother, Vilcata, as well, practices the practice of creation, of life. We are brothers and sisters. How may I help you with this investigation? Why have you come to my temple in particular? Is there anything I can do for you?
I would like more information as to like what happened to cause all these rats to suddenly spawn. I was told that like one of like the origins of the rat problem started near the temple.
Yes, there was a couple of attacks out in the plaza. I don't know much about them. I do have a victim of these attacks here in the temple. However, I would have to ask if he's okay with the visitor. He is quite not okay. He caught a disease from the rats.
Interesting. And you have not been able to cure this person of this disease, I'm assuming.
Unfortunately, the goddess has not ordained me with such power yet. If you'd like, I could ask him these questions and relay them to you if you're uncomfortable being in his presence. Many fear his ailment.
Is the ailment unusual in
Yes.
a supernatural sense?
It is not something I have seen before. I have detected no unbiological traces, but he has grown... How do I say this? You're aware of the physiological state of rats, correct? What they appear like and...
Wait, are you trying to tell me he's a rat man now?
Not exactly. He's grown whiskers and patchy skin. It's very strange.
Okay, so he's in the process of being a rat man.
A rat man? I wouldn't say so. If you're referring to the creature were-rats, I do not believe this is how the transformation occurs, if I am correct on my readings. However, I am not a proficient master of lore or monsters.
Okay. I'm gonna do a lore check on this.
Okay, give me an intelligence check. Ooh, that's just below. You would have heard stories of rare rats. Among those stories, there's ones where they transform almost immediately after being contrapted. There's others that mix with werewolves where it says only on the night of the full moon will they fully change. And then there's others that say it's just biological, that these creatures are spawned of their own ilk and any half-breeds are impossible. It's a mixed amount of lore you've heard, and the stories that the dwarves and your elven brethren have told you about these creatures.
I ask her, how long has he had these symptoms? Have they slowly been appearing? Is it just like all of a sudden he had these whiskers and they've been with him for months? What's happening?
It's been a slow process. Over the period of 2 weeks since he was bitten, they did not appear until a week and a half later, so it's much recent here. This change in his physiology. Although the patchy skin started almost immediately. It is a strange thing.
I look to Mikey and I go...
Yes?
I looked at Mikey and I like go, well, I changed my mind. I think you have been cursed by the gods.
He looks at you, his eyes go wide. Which god? Which gods? Gods?
It was only a joke, Mikey. But
What? A joke? He looks somewhat offended for a moment. Just like, why would you say this to me? He's probably a little bit kind of like looking around suspiciously towards you now. You notice how young he is. He's 20, so for you, he's like a baby, right? He's like an infant. So, I don't know how you...
I just like, kind of just say, elven humor. Don't worry about it.
A cultural barrier. He nods suspiciously. Well, good sir, do you have any leads to what might have happened, or are we going to talk to this rat-faced man?
I have some theories, but we need to talk to Ratface. We'll just call him that from now on, okay?
Okay. So the vicar, the priest, it's another word for priest, looks at you and kind of guides you towards a small back room where on a made-up cot is a man who has whiskers and is kind of like wheezing slowly, and you see patchy skin all up and down his face, and you imagine throughout the rest of his body, you can see it on his arms as well, and he looks up at you and kind of puts his hand out towards the vicar. Goes, please, more. And she kind of puts a hand on him, and you see a small glow as she tries to heal him of his wounds, but it doesn't do it. Although you see a slight relief on his face as he looks gracious.
I introduced myself. I am Elred the Shaper, and I'm here investigating your rat problem. And I'd like to ask, what happened? How did you become like this, Mr. I'm sorry, what's your name?
James.
Yes, Mr. James. How did this occur? Like, when did you get attacked? How are you the only one like this?
I'm unsure. Many have fallen to the rats. I'm one of the few survivors of these attacks. They come in and kill and then run away, leaving few survivors. I appear to be the only one exhibiting such... He looks kind of up and down himself. Exuberant sicknesses, diseases. What do you call them? I'm not a learned man.
Yes, there's diseases. When did your attack occur? Was it early on in this rat problem, or just recently?
It was around 2 weeks ago. I was sitting on the stoops begging. I am not a wealthy man, and I've never been very good at anything. And I was sitting there, and I peered out, and coming from behind the temple was a swarm of these rats. And I wasn't sure where exactly they came from, if that's what you're asking, but I stepped in front of them to save a small girl who was handing out beautiful flowers to the townsfolk in celebration of our wondrous catch that day in the seas. Well, their wondrous catch. I simply bask in the light of the fishermen when they bring me food. But I stood in front of her, and they bit me up my arms and legs, and fortunately, the sheriff's men ran in and stormed them off. Should I be telling... Do you have any specific questions? It's difficult to talk about. Have you ever been swarmed by rats?
Yes. I actually had to deal with the swarm today. It's not pleasant. So I understand your distress.
Yes. They crawl up and down your body like spiders. Or a swarm of ants, but they're furry and have little pitter-pattering legs.
Yes, of course.
Have you ever heard I hear the pitter-patter in my dreams now. They're never quiet.
Alright, Alred kind of turns around, and he wants to laugh so hard.
Do you hold it in? Can you? Can you hold it in? Okay.
I'm sorry. He says, well, you do have a clue. He did say it was behind the temple, so...
Yes.
And who else? So as I nod to the vicar and say, well, I'll be continuing my investigation. Thank you, James. As I just kind of start leaving the temple.
She nods to you. Go in peace.
You as well.
Pray for James here, and may you save the town from our burdens. And may you pray to Vilcata, our mother.
Yes. Of course.
She nods to you.
So as I leave the temple, I ask Mikey if there was anything else, because the next solution would just to be go rat hunting, but
well, you don't got no spells you could whip up to find these rats?
well, they're all over the place. The issue is that they're in the sewers, and if I'm understanding the map correctly, right? Of like these attacks, it seems like they would most likely be in the docks area. That I would assume the sewage flows out into the ocean, right?
We try and get it away from the fish, but it eventually gets there, a little outside of town.
So that's since the majority of rat attacks happen there, I'm assuming the rats are there.
Could be the case.
More than likely. And they use the sewer systems to travel. But if I understand this correctly, it seems like they should be in the dock areas right now. But the problem is is, being able to kill them. I don't think there's any way other than poison. It's a
Poison.
rat problem. Yeah.
We tried putting out some traps and poisons here and there for the rats, but it is thinned their numbers a bit, but it wasn't ever a solution.
No, we'd have to investigate the sewers.
I could. He kind of frowns a little bit. I suppose I could lead you down there. I'm not too happy about it, but it's possible.
It's extremely dangerous. That's what I'm really concerned about. Because we're gonna be in their territory. Most of you are humans, so you're not adept at fighting in the dark.
I'd grab a torch. I got supplies we could go get. If we're gonna go.
I don't want to waste the resources of the town. Because if this is truly a problem that has a sort of source, what I'm assuming because of James' affliction, I'm gonna need more than you, Mikey. And this occurred 2 weeks after the new count was installed.
2 weeks. Just about, yeah. His name is Count Clarice Wakewide. He's pretty old. His father was in his late 80s when he passed. Very lecherous man. Had a lot of women coming by. You get my fancy?
His father or Clarence? I mean,
his father.
Yeah. Okay, his father was lecherous.
Okar Wakewood.
Okay.
Up until his late 80s, still had women coming by.
Busy man. Is it possible for us to get an audience with the Count? I don't want to. This is an important matter. I can wait. I can wait.
He's got public chambers being held today. We could go approach him for an audience that way. I can't get you anything private. It's got to be in front of the rest of the court.
Of course.
Okay. He leads you. You see nearby, as is posted on this map, this keep area where there's a large wall surrounding the keep, and inside you see stone, and he leads you past the guard, and eventually you find your way into this large chamber that is the kind of throne area, the meeting hall where the throne of the Count sits. On it, you see a very strong and kind of robust man with a strong chin, flowing golden blonde hair, and he's very, very rugged, though. He's not very beautiful. He looks down as peasants kind of plead with him for assistance with this or that task. Besides him, there's a man with a large kind of crook in his back. He's hunched over. He's got a large scroll case as well. And every once in a while, you hear him read off of it some obscure law that the Count is not familiar with. And eventually it gets to your turn, and the middle-aged looking robust man looks to you and goes, "Speak. You look strange. Where are you from?"
I'm from the Grey Mountains. I'm Elred the Shaper, and I've obviously come to see to seek an audience.
I am aware of that. He nods over to the man with the scrolls and whispers into his ear, and they whisper for about a moment, and he goes, "You're not of the woods."
I'm not. The woods, quite frankly, scare me.
We've had problems with your cousins in the woods. They interrupt our lumbering operations.
Maybe I could be of service in mediating that little conflict of yours, but I'm actually here for something more of an internal issue that's occurring in the town.
Speak on it. What do you wish?
I wish to help you with your rat problem. I am and this is in front of people, right? Sorry, this OC.
Yes, there is plenty of people in this chamber. There's more peasants behind you, or various nobles in the audience sections. So there's this great hall. There's the throne that he sits on. It's pretty standard, just a big chair that's made of stone as well. On both sides, there's, I don't know if you've ever seen something like this, but there's a large kind of arch chamber where nobles will sit and kind of speak and gossip when everyone comes for audience.
Yeah, I get it. I'm trying to find the words to be careful, not to
No problem.
cause panic. I am a learned man, and a weaver of magic, and I believe that in the case of these rats, something supernatural is going on, and I do feel that I can lend my hand in dealing with this problem. I have a bit of expertise in these things.
I can't be bothered with such small problems generally, but if it will bring aid to the town, I can lend you my ear.
I wish to speak to you privately, so that we can discuss these things away from, the general public. There are some sensitive things I wish to discuss in regards to this problem.
He frowns. I do not trust the Fey folk in private. You may speak to my steward if that would be acceptable to you, and I can convey any information through him afterwards.
Oh, very acceptable. Very. I thank you for your
Yes.
acceptance, right, to even talk to me. I understand that you have issues with some people of my kind, and I'd like to praise you for your open-mindedness and your wisdom, and just being there for the people of Wakefield.
Give me a charisma check. You are clearly trying to flatter this man.
Yeah, sure. Do I have a skill that would be
It's probably just a base charisma check.
okay, cool. So I would have a -5, right?
Unless you're trying to debate him into liking you. Is that what you're trying to do? Being a debate, bro? No, it's just a charisma check. There is no persuasion skill, so just a base roll.
Also, it's 10.
You got a 10?
No, I mean I have a 10 for Christmas.
Oh, D20 plus 10 then. Yep. Looking for 21 or higher. My lord, you're really edging this. Okay. He nods his head. Somewhat approvingly, but he clearly is not trusting of your persuasion.
My elvish ways.
Yes. And you get shuffled to a parlor. To the right of you, there's a small hallway in this parlor with a couple books on a bookshelf and a small desk. The hunchman kind of hobbles over and sits down and gestures for you to join him.
I fall. I feel like I feel like uh that 20 is the only like roll I've made successfully.
It's technically not successful, but you did. I think you crit. You crit a perception check at the beginning of the thing. So,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
so you did. Oh,
Very
you meant that
successful.
20. I thought you meant this total 20. No, yes, that 20 seems to be the only thing you've succeeded on so far. Yes, you need to up your game here. But
Just roll better.
the steward looks to you, and goes, "What can I do for you today? I can help you with this problem if you lend me more information, but you were silent with my liege lord. Due to privacy issues, I am told or heard?"
Yeah, I didn't want to startle the people. You know how rumors fly, and yeah, I was trying to just be as careful as possible. I'd just like to ask some questions. Is there anything that you feel would have caused such a an issue to arise? Because this is clearly something out of the ordinary, very magical.
Yes, rats generally do not behave in this way. I have a couple theories myself, but I'm not sure what it could be. There are many stories and rumors running about these rats swarming and coming from the depths where only the great god of nature, lost to the world, is planning his venge on the surface folk. All rumors and stories. In our past, we have not had many animal attacks due to our large walls built around this town, even though we are in the Wake Wood, which is quite dangerous and full of wildlife, including a green dragon that roams these woods. We have been quite safe due to our mounted ballistae. So we don't have a lot of animal attacks. This is the first I've ever heard of it in my life, and I am the master of law here.
The thing I'm curious about is that your liege lord has is rather recent. He replaced his father, correct? About a month ago.
Yes, he did.
I was wondering, do you think that there might be a connection between his new arrival on as the head of Wakefield versus in relation to the rat attacks? Because they seem very close, and the rat attacks are clearly supernatural. Not only in the way the rats are acting, but the fact that the rats can pass on a disease that turns you into a rat-like person.
I don't know anything specific. The old Baron had a plethora of angry peasant folk who... How do I say this delicately? He looks you once over. This doesn't leave this room. You understand?
Yes.
The current count has a number of siblings, yet none of them hold the name. Do you catch my drift? None of them are Wakewides.
Oh yes, I've
Yes.
the rumors.
Due to the adventures the prior count would go on, there were many spawn throughout Wakeport and the surrounding villages in the county. He practiced quite openly these affairs and was not popular for it.
So it makes sense that he has enemies.
He does, yes, but not powerful ones. They are mostly peasant folk, and you know the peasants. Wait, he looks at you for a moment. You're not a... Do elves have nobility?
I'm a cut above a peasant. because of my occupation
As an investigator.
as a wizard.
He looks surprised. You're a wizard?
Yes, I am.
And
see-
what is your business in Wakeport other than investigating? Why did you come here?
Wizards often go on adventures to seek knowledge. I'm seeking knowledge.
Fair.
That's really it.
It's a fair thing. And have you decided on a location you're going to seek knowledge permanently? Would you be interested in staying in Wakeport for some time?
Yeah, actually, I would. I'm interested in helping in the bit that I can, and but I would like to solve this rat problem first, right? To
Yes.
sort of earn my keep, and then maybe I could, see about being a member of this court. I feel like my knowledge would be invaluable.
We have lacked a magi for some time. The prior account had not invested his wealth in retaining such a figure, as helpful as they can be. So if you wish to be our court magi, that would be an ample test to see you solve this problem for our humble town here.
Yes, of course. Yeah, and I'm also interested in solving your other issue, the major one outside these walls.
Our disputes with the elves.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I can offer you, upon completion of this task, I'm not sure what you've been offered so far, but we have a suitable quartering for you. Within the keep, well, within the walls of our keep's land, a small and humble abode where our previous court magi stayed prior to our current count's time. It is nice. It has a small number of books and his spell book as well. And that could be an ample reward, although I don't know how you're going to solve this issue.
I don't know either. But it's in the works. Not yet. I'm in the information gathering stage.
Let's see. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, you've kind of told me what I needed. As I feel like you've told me as much as you can regarding this issue. I was told that the rat problem may have had its origins near this place where the count stays. I forgot what it's called. The castle, right? Is it a castle?
The keep, yeah.
The keep. Yes.
Yes, they're right outside near the temple, which is, of course, within close proximity, although many merchants also set up within the plaza around the temple during times of safety. They have stopped recently due to the attacks. Instead, cloistering in buildings, telling their way.
Interesting. The vicar, what's her name?
He frowns. Yes.
Prounce?
Yes, he frowns. Jalissa, Vicar Jalissa.
Do you have an issue with her?
I may have worn my emotions too much on my sleeve. Since we've been talking in privacy, and you appear to be of great use to our court if you do succeed in this matter, the vicar is, how do you say, stuck up. She believes there is only one way to solve a problem, and that is by trusting in the gods. And I have faith, just as any kind of does a small religious symbol, like a Christian would do a cross. Just waves his hands. I have faith, just as every good man does, yet I do have a problem with her not being willing to take the hard solutions to issues. Her generosity is the reason so many of these bastards remain. Where other nobles would ship them off for, does the religious symbol again, gods forbid it, do other methods to dispose of them, she has taken them in as orphans and raised them. Some now have fully matured and left, others still remain in town or at the temple.
Wait, you're telling me that the current Count of Wakefield has half brothers right next door and sisters?
He puts a shh motion over his mouth. Yes, he is tangentially aware of some of them. I do not think he knows how many or would like to know. He looks at you seriously for a moment. This is not a matter that is discussed often.
Did the vicar and the Count's father, the former Count, have any sort of relationship?
Did who?
The Count's father, that recently passed with the
with the children. Oh, with the vicar.
Yes.
No, they've very rarely talked. There is a couple matters of religious council that they needed to interact on, but otherwise they were very distant from one another. The prior vicar had no powers, and so was easy to sway in matters of court. Yet this one is... She is blessed by Vilcata. Frowns. Makes her a very difficult... He kind of stops with saying obstacle. Difficult mover.
I see. Well, this court is going to be very interesting. I thank you. You've mentioned something that I feel is worth investigating. You and I'm sorry, what's your name?
Stuart the steward.
Okay. All right, Stuart. You and Juliasa, right?
Julissa.
Julissa. I'm really bad at names.
It's fine. She is. Don't say it in front of her.
Yeah. So Vicar, Julissa, and Stuart, the steward, you've mentioned something that I feel is worth investigating. It seems as if the rats have come from the plaza.
Yes.
So, I will start my investigation there, and see if I can find something worthwhile.
Very well. He stands up, nodding at you, and kind of begins to walk out and opens the door for you, and I assume you pass in front of him.
Yeah.
He puts his hand on your back for a moment and kind of holds you there for a second, crouched over as he's got a natural hunch in his back. He's not fully hunchbacked, but he's got a curve kind of to his spine.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of whispers to you, if you do speak of the things we've talked about here, I need you to know you shouldn't. Gives you a very serious look. Nods.
I'm an elf, and we always plan on living for a very long time. I understand.
He gives you a wave and ushers you out and follows after back into the throne room. Where do you go?
I look for Mikey, and then I tell him to head, we should head to the plaza.
All right, boss. Kind of follows you out to the plaza. And you're in the plaza. There's people about. A couple of beggars on the stairs up to the temple. Not many other people standing around, though.
I'm going to hunt for the rats.
Okay. Where are we going? Sewers?
Yeah, I'm looking for, a sewer grate or something that, like something that I can get to the sewers.
Hmm.
I'll probably is there a way, probably not in the plaza, I'm assuming.
He looks to you. He goes, "Only the nobles in the temple get the real access to the sewers. Most of the nobles live behind the temple, right about." He points over to this general direction. This square or so of buildings. We could go there, or we could go outside to where the sewage exits, although I'm a little hesitant to do that.
Yeah, let's go to the noble quarters. I'm just confused as to why nobility has access to the sewers. Is this like a sort of
Oh, the sewage goes. They have access to sewage systems. The rest of the city doesn't.
I see, I see,
They
I see,
gotta
I see.
they gotta haul their waste elsewhere.
Hmm.
Catch my drift? It's not a pleasant thing.
Mikey, have you ever heard any rumors of say the former count?
Well,
Messing-
I told you he's a lecher.
yes, the Lecher. The have you ever heard of him being any like lecherous towards any noble women? I'm sure that was common. He's sort of
He nods. And young maidens and village folk.
one specific that might have been nobility. He
No,
seems sort of over the time.
nobles don't keep their bastards around often, so if they did produce one, they kept it secret. I know he's been seen all over these parts. No specific noble women that I can think of.
All right, let's go. Take a stroll through the nobles' quarters. Would that be an issue? For me, I mean, because I'm sure they are well guarded.
As long as you stick to the roads, they don't care too much. If you start hopping fences there, though, they'll hang you, string you up quickly. That's the biggest
Of course.
issue. Just stay on the road, and he leads you over to the district. As you get there, you see a manner of buildings. This is a much more spaced out district compared to the rest of the city. There's probably about 6 or 7 large kind of townhouses that have small gardens outside of them and fountains and all manner of ornaments that the nobility has the pleasure of having. So there's about 7 of these houses, and you see as you walk through here variety of gardeners working the fields, not the fields, sorry, the gardens, and other folk cleaning up around these large estates. And you walk through here. He goes, "You want to enter the sewer now, or you just want to gander at the splendor?"
I want to see if there are rat droppings.
Give me a perception check.
Can I use hunting instead?
You can. That would be your wisdom. And that, let me make sure. Let's check the hunting proficiency. Give me but a moment so I can remember if there's any additional stuff, because I feel like I'm remembering hunting rules have some specific things. Hunting. Set snares. HHH. Gaming. Juggling. Herbalism. Hunting. Must be made. Okay. Yes, give me a wisdom check or willpower. It's the same thing. Which I believe is a d20 plus your 9. Oof. Okay.
God.
So this is a town, right? It is very difficult to find game in a town. As you wander through, you don't see any rat droppings or rats, but Mikey kind of looks to you and goes, "You're trying to track him, eh?"
Yeah, I am.
If you want, I could try and help you out.
Of course.
He looks around. Yeah, you see right there? He points to one of the estates. See all in front of it? That man sweeping? You know why we're not finding anything?
Oh,
It's because they
street
keep
sweeper.
this place clean. He nods, very proud of himself. Probably a little
Oh,
too
Mikey,
proud.
you are extremely helpful.
Yeah. Now, I reckon, I hate to say this, but if you figure they're coming from these sewers here and not the outflow, we gotta go down there eventually.
Yes, we do.
I hate to do it. If you can solve the problem above ground, don't God's forbid, don't let me stop you, but he sighs. I think we know what we gotta do. Mr. Elred.
Of course. I feel like we should wait till tomorrow.
So be it, mister. You got
Yeah.
lodgings?
No, I do not.
You want to come stay with me and mine?
No.
You pondering whether you want to stay with the guardsman and his family.
It's because I don't want to be like intrusive. It's not. I don't have anything against Mikey. It's just like.
It's out of respect, not like classism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's like I thank you for your help, but I don't want to be a burden to you, Mikey. I'm sure I can find lodgings in the inn, and I'm being like very sincere. You've been of great help.
He nods to you. Alrighty. Well, there's an inn around. Are you looking for a proper place or somewhere you can just get by?
Yeah, I just want to get by. No.
All right. Well, there is a nice inn. It's called the Seaman's Shore.
Seaman, sure.
He leads you to it. It's down by the docks. He sets you up with lodging. He's gonna They're gonna charge you for your stay. They ask you how long you're planning to stay in this inn. Just the night.
It's a day for now.
Just the day. Alrighty.
Yeah. Yes.
That'll be about 5 silver just for the room.
Sure.
Okay. You hand him the 5 silver and you get a room, and we could skip over you going to bed, but you go to bed. Do you want to do anything, or do you just want to?
Yeah, I mean, I went to sleep because I want to change my spells.
Okay. You go to sleep. Nothing happens to you in the night. You wake up, and you study your spell book. What do you change your spells to?
Color spray and armor.
Color spray and armor. You still have armor, by the way. If you read it, it's persistent until you.
Interesting. Color spray and color spray.
Okay. The second one has to be conjuration. Color spray's alteration, so you could do mount or armor, but your other 2 spells.
Mount, I guess. Yeah.
Summon a donkey to distract the rats potentially. As dangerous as that is, although I think is mount takes 1 turn versus 1 round. Just to be clear, since I know you're not super familiar with second, 1 turn is 10 rounds, so it's 10 minutes. 1 round is 1 minute, so that'll take a long time to summon if you do want to use that spell. Just as a note.
I have 1 color spray. Damn.
Yes, 1 color spray. If only you'd been an alteration mage, but it's okay. You might want to attain like grease or some spell similar.
Yeah, it's just like I'm going up against swarms.
Yes.
So
Question is, how many
I'm
hit
really-
die are the rats, right? That's the real concern.
yeah, that's a real question. I have Mikey. Mikey's cool.
You have Mikey, too, yeah. He's going with you. Begrudgingly. He shows up after you've learned your spells and kind of sitting in the common room waiting for you. He goes, what's our business today? We got hunting?
We're going to continue where we left off.
I brought torches.
Yes, excellent. Torches. Fire should scare the rats, hopefully.
Is that true?
I hope so.
Gives a frown. I thought you were supposed to... It doesn't matter.
I know, but you know, we can't know everything, right?
I suppose.
Of course. I'm here to learn, so we'll learn together whether or not the rats are scared of fire.
His mouth goes open for a moment. Yeah. I guess so. He gives a nervous laugh. Alrighty, I guess we're gonna get going.
Elven humor, don't worry about it.
Oh, Elven humor. Ha ha ha. All right, and do you wander over to the Noble District Sewer Grate, or are you going through a different direction?
The Noble District Sewer Grate.
All right, you go there. There's a sewer grate. Mikey looks to you. You want me to do the honors, or?
I don't think I'd even be able to pull these things up.
Okay, he sparks a torch before you go down, picks up the grate as he hands you the torch to hold for a moment, and looks down, takes one hand, kind of shifts himself down, and shimmies down into the sewer. And below, you can see him, not very far down, about maybe 5 feet down. He's sitting there, kind of crouched, hunched. He's about the same height as you, and the sewer's a little bit smaller than his neck height. Coming down?
Of course.
Looks expectingly to you.
Alright. I have low light vision, correct?
You have infravision for, I believe, 160 feet. So you can see as... It's a little different. So infravision, you see like infrared, basically, in the dark. So you will see life forms and whatnot, and you'll see walls, but it's a little less clear, you know. Not as detailed, but you can see better than him, so. No combat penalties, if that's what you're looking at.
No, I just want to know if I could see in general. But yeah, let's turn on the torch so Mikey can see.
He's lit it already. He's down there in the sewer. Kind of got his torch.
Right. So I'll just go down the into the sewers. Follow Mikey.
Perforating in your nose as you go down is the smell of unspeakable horrors. You know, your both of your feet wade into this kind of murky water, and you're aware what you're standing in. It's unpleasant. You peer around. There's kind of multiple different small drilled holes, right? Kind of like drilled out into the ground through some manner. I don't believe you're a mason, so you probably don't know how this was done. But they're dug out, and these small kind of holes drain into this larger section you're standing in, and it goes kind of east in one direction and west in the other. You have two options to go east or west, but you see darkness as far as your infravision can go to one side, and the other you see a wall situated to the east of you, kind of blocking most of your vision. You go east?
Oh, wait, the walls are blocking?
It's blocking your vision of the rest of the tunnel. You see, like, it turns off. You know what I'm saying? So you see a wall, and it turns off into another direction, so you can't see further down there. The other just goes into darkness. And Mikey goes, to our west here, that'll drain out the further we go outside the town into the water beyond her. And to the east, Figure that'll lead us closer to the temple and the keep.
East.
We go east. Do you want me to go first, or?
Please.
Alrighty. Starts to kind of buckle up and walk forward as you wander through the sewer, the smell kind of grating. And as you wander, you start to get towards this turn off, and you hear kind of ambiguously around you as it echoes off the walls. You hear more cheats. And give me... Oh, what do you do?
Yeah, right. No, sorry.
No, what do you do?
I was just gonna say, like, I unstrap my bow. Right.
Okay. You unstrap your short bow. You knock an arrow, I assume, and peer around. You don't see anything yet. Give me a perception check as you wander around, and Mikey bends the corner. Oof. My lord.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been able to roll above a 10 since, like, the beginning of the game.
Yes, that's a 4, a 2, a 10, a 3, a 2, a 3. There's an 18 there, so that hit. A 4? My god. My lord. All right. You need to start praying to the goddess of luck or something as your new prerogative, likely. But you don't see anything, and you bend the corner with Mikey, and you stare down, and as you look down, the torch doesn't reach this, so it's likely Mikey can't see it, but you see a large open chamber down at the end of this kind of, not hallway, but sewer tunnel. And there's light. There's bright light, like someone's got a lantern lit. But you don't see much else, you just see there's light in this chamber.
Mikey, do you see that? I like bring his attention to it.
He peers down. I see a light source. I don't see much else.
Don't you think it's kind of strange that there's light down here?
He looks to you. You see fear in his eyes. He goes, "Boss, there shouldn't be anyone down here, let alone any light source."
Exactly.
Is this magic?
Not that I know of. It could be, but I doubt. It seems very mundane, but still an issue.
Well, are you gonna cast a spell, or?
No, I'm not.
I guess I'll get going then.
Of course, lead the way, Mikey.
He does not look happy. Mikey kind of tugs at his leather, kind of stretches a little bit, takes his spear and kind of trudges forward, using it as a walking stick for now, with torch in his other hand. And eventually you get to this chamber. He bends around the corner and goes, and I gotta roll a die, as he kind of makes a sound. Boss?
Yes. What's going on?
You need to see this.
I like peer over his shoulders if I can.
You peer around the corner, Mikey in front of you, and in this large chamber, you see it goes about 30 or so feet to the right, and it almost ends immediately to your left. And at the end of this chamber, you see it ends. In front of you, there's also another continuation of this sewer. But at the end of this chamber, you see lanterns lighting up what appears to be a large throne made out of tiny bones. And on that throne sits a rat-faced man with patchy skin, and he's got a small little crown of tiny bones around his head, and below him sits 3 large swarms of rats skittering. And as you listen here and watch, you hear him go, "My creatures, we will take back the surface. Soon I will have my birthright. As we continue our invasion, we grow in power. We strengthen our brood. Continue with the breeding. Bring us more spawn so we may have a larger army." As he speaks, We'll see if he notices you. His eyes perk up as he's in the middle of a speech. He looks to you and Mikey. Oh, subjects, come hither. He raises his arm. Come here. Come worship your count, your true-born heir.
I walk forward slowly, bow still knocked. And I say, I am Elred the Shaper. And you are...
Stantificus, true count of Wakeport. Have you come to swear fealty to your true liege lord? The rats begin to kind of crawl towards you. 3 swarms of them. 2 appear to be kind of lurching towards Mikey as he stands to your right a little bit. Torch, his hand shaking on his spear. It's pointed upwards. He's kind of looking at you, like, really scared. And
what makes you the true liege lord?
I am the true son of the previous count. His first heir. His one true son soon, after I slay my brother. Half-brother.
Who's your mother?
My mother?
Yes.
Are you questioning my lineage?
I would.
She
I
is
would
the truest, beautifulest woman in all the land. She's a beautiful tailor. Or she was. God bless her heart. He does a wave of his hands.
Interesting.
She wove me these clothes. You look down to his kind of what might have once been a nice doublet is now like patchy with holes and scattered with the kind of sewage stains that he has gotten from being down here.
And what do I refer to you as?
The proper title is your lordship, or countess.
Yes,
Sylvester. He changed his name.
Okay, so is it Dantithius or Sylvester? What's happening?
Dantithius Sylvester, king of the rats in the ground below and out. He looks confused to himself for a moment. Your lordship! You call me your lordship!
Okay, yes.
He scratches at his patches and itches hard. You see large flakes kind of pour from his skin. Bow! Bow before your liege lord. How have you come here? Peers around the room.
I've come here to ask you to not hurt people in the above ground. See, the thing is that, like, look, right? Your lordship.
You would command me?
No, not at all, right? I am suggesting you wage a proper war. This is a war of peasants. Guerrilla warfare is not something that is befitting of someone of your stature. You need to declare war formally.
You'd say Stantificus is not fighting a fair and just war?
No, it's just.
Any
right?
who serve my brother serve a false idol.
I do not serve your brother.
Count.
The issue here, right, is that let's say even if you take over Wakefield, right? This is the first rule of governing, right? You need the will of the people behind you. If you take over Wakefield in such an underhanded way, the peasants will not submit to you. Do you not see the issue? So you need to declare war formally. And I can do that for you. I can be your messenger.
You will tell the people of their true liege lord?
Of course.
What would you say about my splendor?
What shouldn't I say? What this Dantithicus Sylvester Lord of the Rats, King of Wakefield, true count and true heir, formally stakes his claim against an imposter.
Formally deposes the imposter. I do not need to stake a claim that is stuck.
Yeah, correct. My apologies, your lordship.
And how do you hold sway with the people above?
I hold sway with the people above in the sense that they trust me. I'm a learned man.
He looks confused for a moment.
I practice arts of manipulation of the forces that bind life itself.
He looks confused. You are...
I'm a weaver of magic.
You weave? You're a tailor, like my mother.
Yes, a tailor of...
My clothes have lacked their flamboyant stature recently.
Not that type of tailor, a tailor of sorts.
Of sorts. You're a tailor or you're not a tailor. Frown.
It's an expression.
He gets
Elven
up
humor.
from his throne. You would say expressions in front of me? You would tell me jokes like a jester?
Well, I'm not here to insult you, alright? It's merely, right, a habit of my people. I apologize. I'm truly sorry. I bow my head a bit.
Your fealty amuses me. Peasant, I would have you go tell my brother to deep in his court to surrender themselves before my mercy. But he remains. Points to Mikey. Mikey is just like, his eyes go wide. He looks to you. He shakes his head very fervently. He's just like, no. Mm-mm. Elred?
Yes. This is a hard decision. Well, he's my personal assistant, and where I go, he goes.
Then you will stay and serve me in my court. You say you weave for me. Do your trick.
I will weave, and I will actually
It's
leave.
closer to you.
I will leave someone who I can trust. A magical spirit of sorts.
You weave spirits.
Yes, I can show you.
Show me your trick, Jester.
All right. I wave my hands and I cast say the magic words, and I cast mount.
Okay, this is gonna take a while.
Did I do mount?
Yes, you did mount and color spray.
Yep.
So, first to third level, you get a mule or a light horse. Are you summoning him a mule, or are you summoning him a light horse in this change?
A mule.
Okay, you take the 10 minutes to cast it, and you summon a mule. The rat-faced man kind of shakes up and down, looks to you, looks to the mule. He goes, "Oh, this could be useful. What other?
Yes.
What other?" He scratches his flaky skin. What other creatures could you summon to my aid? A bear. I want a bear. Summon me a bear, servant.
A bear would be an issue.
This displeases me.
Yes, I'm aware I'm weak as of now, but If you step, hmm. So the thing is that this is my familiar. This is not just a light. This is just not a horse. This is a creature that I can see through, feel through. And I will leave him here. And me and Mikey will go back and, you know, relay the message.
Okay, I'm gonna need a charisma check. One for the lie you just told, because that is not a familiar. And I know you know.
He doesn't know that.
I know, but it's a lie, so you needed to roll a charisma check. And 2 to persuade him of this in its essence. You're looking for at least a 21 or higher.
Oh my god, yes.
Finally, you have succeeded on... This is probably the most important roll of our session so far, albeit not... Anyway, he looks to you, goes, you may go. But first, more gifts. He looks to you and Mikey. I want his clothes and his armor and his spear. And your... What do you have on you as clothes-wise?
Robe.
Just a robe? Do you have shoes?
Yeah, I have shoes.
Points
So
to
you can't, can you see them? Like, I thought they were in waist deep. Below in water.
Oh, true. You're right. And your bow. Bring them to me.
Yeah, sure. I'll give him my bow. All right.
Okay. Mikey looks to you for guidance.
He needs his clothes.
The armor, then.
He needs his armor as well.
You would disobey your liege lord?
Not disobeying anything. I'm simply telling you, what needs to occur. There's no disobedience here. This is just a matter of fact. I am speaking plainly because I trust you, and you should trust me as well.
You're arguing with me right now.
It's not an argument. Think of it more as a mediation.
You're trying to roll another charisma check, I assume.
Yeah, this is debate.
You're trying to debate or mediate him out of this situation.
Yes. I'm trying to convince him I'm not arguing with him. I'm simply advising him.
Give me another charisma check, but give me a +4 to it. For your argument. Oof. So you begin to discuss this with him. You've said what you said already. He banters back a bit. This discussion goes on a little more, and he goes, at the end, he looks to you. What was your desired effect out of this?
To convince him that me and Mikey need to go back in our best presentable form, and tell to declare that to the court that they need to worship the well, at least convince the Rat King that he needs to be worshipped or by the counts and all that stuff.
He looks to you. Yes, you should be more presentable. But you do not wear any trappings of my county. He looks to the rats. Up, up! And the rats begin to descend upon you two. Do you do anything?
No.
Okay. They begin to crawl up your robes and up Mikey. Mikey's terrified. He's like trying to swat him off for a moment, but seeing you not do any reaction, he follows suit. And the rats climb up you, and you soon have about 10 rats in between the two of you. 5 on him, 4 on you, on your shoulders and head, and hanging onto your clothes. There. let that speak for the people that you talk for my voice. Begone!
Yes.
Tell the Count of his misdeeds and depose him, or tell him he is deposed.
Of course.
Very well. I do have to ask you, Teo, how much longer can you go?
For a while, actually.
Okay. I need to go grab a drink real quick, though, so we're going to take like a 5-minute break if that's cool with you.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. It's been great.
Yes. So 5 minutes, so at 10:05 probably?
Yeah, cool.
Cool. All right. Catch you then. All right, I've returned. Teo, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. All right. Ready to get back in the game?
Of course.
Cool, cool. All right. So, where we left off, you were descended upon by the rats, and they jumped onto your clothes, as well as Mikey's. And I don't know what you'd call this man so far. Do you call him the Rat King, Stelvester, Stalvos, whatever his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call him the Rat King. Just call him the Rat King.
The Rat.
I don't think his name matters because he doesn't have a name, from what I can tell.
The Rat King, the man who lives in these sewers, looks to you and goes, "Off then."
All right, I'm off. I don't even wait for him to say it a second time. I just leave.
You leave your poor mule behind for the remaining 2-something hours. And walk up to the surface. You were undisturbed. But as you and Mikey are walking, he looks to you and goes, We're not gonna kill him? Bewitch
Yeah, we
him.
are.
Kill him. Bewitch him.
It's not that simple.
He looks to the rats. They can't... You don't think they can understand us, do you?
They probably can.
They can?
Can't? I don't know.
You don't know? You're the wizard. You let these rats descend on us without doing anything.
Yes, I did.
Mikey shakes his head. He's like, he thinks you're crazy. He's just like, I need to get out of here. He's mumbling.
Elven humor, okay?
Elven humor. It ages fine like elven wine, right? Mikey will laugh about this in the next 100 years of his life. You imagine, right? That's how elven humor works. Well, you walk up to the surface, and as you do, right? Unless you want to go.
Yeah, we do.
And as you do, you see, as you pop out of the sewers, the gardeners, the working staff, and a couple taking a stroll through the streets ponder at you for a moment. And then the couple gasp, and they go, oh, get the guards! And they run down the street towards the temple. And the working staff kind of ponders at you, suspiciously confused. Some of them, you gather, probably recognize Mikey. And they just look at you.
And now we wait.
Eventually, more guards are summoned. Mikey goes, There's a Rat King. And he looks to you, and eventually you're brought... or, you're not brought anywhere. Brought to you is the sheriff who you'd met prior. And he looks you up and down.
All right, Sheriff, we've found the source of your problem.
Balter, the sheriff, speaks up, goes, his large jowl shaking. Yes, I'm trying to get the old voice. You found the issue?
Yes, there's a man, or
Looks at you cross.
rat man, if you want to call him that. That is the cause of this problem. He is down in the sewer, not too far.
Say that again? A rat man.
Yes, there's a rat man, right, who's controlling the rats via some magical trickery, right, down there. And I have a witness, your employee, Mikey, right, was there with me and witnessed all of this occur. And we were, I was not sure if I was going to be able to, like, dispose of him. But yeah, like, let's go kill him now since all the guards are here.
You're telling me there's a rat man in the sewers. Mikey nods, looks at the rats on him. But you want to kill him. These are his creatures?
Yes, these are his creatures. Notice how they're not attacking me right now?
They are sticking to you, though. They are clawed into your clothes, sitting on your shoulders, staring at you.
Yes, but they're not attacking. Don't you think this is uncharacteristic of a rat? Like, in a swarm?
No, it's not. You want me to send my men down there?
Yes, I do.
Mikey's shaking his head. There's a lot of rats down there.
Yeah.
Well, what happens if the guards get bit up and turn out like James?
I mean, that not your job to like help the citizens of this town?
Look, Mikey speaks up finally. You're the wizard here. You let us down there. You put me in this situation.
I will go with you, okay? Like I'm not saying I will. I have a spell that will help this situation a lot. And me and Mikey are in the most danger here. We literally have ticking rat bombs on us. Ticking, or I don't know.
That's a
bombs
good
exist.
question for you. You're gonna go down there with all these rats on you with these guards.
Yes.
Okay.
But like I am sacrificing, putting my life on the altar for a town that I've been in for one day, right?
The old sheriff kind of puts his hands on his cheeks, rubs slowly. Okay. You, Mikey, points to a man behind him, and Boris will go down. And I assume, I don't know a lot about this, but if he's dead, are the rats still under some spell?
No, the rats are not under any spell. They are under his control. He controls them completely. So if we kill him, problem solved.
Do you have the ability to beguile this man into trusting you?
I already did. Why do you think I'm alive?
Then perhaps you should go slay him before he descends upon many of our men. Perhaps going in force is foolish.
Exactly. That only need Boris.
Well, then go kill him.
All right, let's go. All right, Boris.
So you're getting Boris to go with you?
Yeah.
So you, Boris, and Mikey. Boris with no rats, you and Mikey with rats, continue down again. Well, actually, let me check something really quickly. Let me check how enthused Mikey is to continue working with you. Mikey sighs. He looks at you. He goes, "Look, you owe me one."
Oh, for sure.
He nods. You owe me big time. And he goes down again, lights a new torch, descends into the sewers, and you begin the trek down. Boris takes the back. Mikey's in the front. You're in the middle, unless you argue it.
No, I'm not.
And you walk around and eventually come to that same bend. Unless you have anything else, you turn the corner, and before you, in the throne again, with 3 new rats in front of him, rat swarms in front of him, is the Rat King. And he goes, "Well, did you tell my brother that he is to be deposed?" Now revealing to another person that this Rat King believes to be the brother of the Count.
So, I tell him that, I tell him I will tell you the results of my surface world visit as soon as these rats are off me and my friends. Friend here.
You wish to remove my trappings from you? You do not wear them with pride?
Prideful, yes, but also uncomfortable.
He frowns.
I'm sorry, I'm not used to your garb yet. It's very uncomfortable for me. We elves, we're not used to hair.
You would... He groans. Very well. Down, down, boys. And they descend down, but they stay at your feet. They don't scamper away. Well,
So Well, I crack my knuckles.
Okay.
Time to die. All right, initiative.
I need to roll a surprise check. Okay. He is not trusting of you necessarily, but he is not hostile. So. Okay. And that is... This is... I would not call this necessarily an ambush. You weren't laid ready in wait. Okay. That's another +1. You're in darkness, but it's light. It's poor light. He is surprised. So you get a surprise round before you roll into initiative. What do you do?
I have a question.
Yes.
If I cast color spray, will it happen immediately my turn ends?
Color spray will happen upon the end of its casting time. So it has a particular initiative. You'd roll a d10 plus that, and that's when it would happen on your initiative. Right now, because it's a surprise round, it happens as soon as you do it.
All right, awesome. I'm going to do color spray and try to get as much of the rat/rat king as possible.
Okay. So the Rat King is currently not in range in this chamber to you, because I believe color spray, if I'm correct, is 20 feet, but you can get a plethora of rats. Yes, it's a 5 by 20 by 20 foot wedge. So you will catch at least the 3 swarms in front of, sorry, the 2 swarms in front of you. Let me see if you'll catch it's a 30 to 40 foot chamber. Ooh, I don't know if you're in range of the rest of the rats. Give me an intelligence check for how close you would have been, since we did not declare specific places in the chamber. Try and see how well you planned ahead for this. Okay. With a major success, I have accidentally removed... Where did that go? How do I get that back? I need to refresh the page. Give me a moment. But you'll be in range of all of them, but you only affect a certain number, I believe.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yes. Let me get combat music going. Okay. You cast your color spray. What does it look like when you begin to cast color spray? Out of curiosity.
Like a concentrated beam of like the gay pride parade, right? Like
okay. Well, give me a 1d6 for how many hit die you affect as you kind of do some motions, mumble some words, and take some colored stand, throw it in the air, and a beam of 4 different colors shoots out before you. Various colors intertwined in them. It's a rainbow of colors, and it shoots these swarms. So there were 5 swarms. It will hit all 5 of them. And you see all those rats just fall to unconsciousness. Unfortunately, I did roll for your guardsmen, and they are also surprised, so they do not act in this round, but that is your surprise round. Shooting a color spray, Mikey goes, "Oh, magic!" And the Rat King shrieks, "You will fall!" and begins to roll into initiative. So, yeah, give me your d10. What are you going to do, out of curiosity?
Well, this means I go first, right?
What did you roll? A 1? He rolled a 6, so you do go first. Let me roll for the guardsman. Eventually, we'll start working with more modifiers, but for now, we'll just keep it simple d10s. Or maybe we won't. We'll see. I just put it back in my bag before I roll the guardsman. I'm rolling it on the thing. I have one of those 100 bags of die. It's very difficult. Okay, 4. So it's you, guardsman, Rat King. What do you do? He has gotten off his throne. He's standing there, angrily raging at you. You could close the distance and whack him, or...
I'm going to take out my bow.
Didn't you give the Rat King your bow?
Oh, I did. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Hmm. I don't have anything else, like really. I am going to just. I'm gonna run up to him. Actually, no, that's dangerous. I'm going to. Wait, where is the bow? By the way.
You see behind his throne sits a small hoard of bones and other objects, and in it, sticking out of this pile of refuse and other things, maybe treasure, who knows? You haven't gotten a close look yet. You see your bow poking out, but it's behind him.
Alright, I'm gonna try to circle him, like the room, and I'll yell to Mikey and Boris to go get him.
You can get to the bow, you can pick it up, circle behind him, but you won't get opportunity attack because you can circle around, but you will just be behind him with a bow in your hand, and you have no other.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You do that, and that's your turn. The guardsmen, what did you yell to them?
Just kill him. Right.
Kill him. Okay. They bravely, seeing your magic take out the swarms of rats, as they are very low 1/4 hit die creatures, you were able to knock so many of them unconscious. They charge with spears. One stabbing into him, the other glancing off of his strange, like, luminescent skin. Ugh, it's gross. And the 14, though, stabs into him with the spear for 6 points of damage. Or, sorry, d6 points of damage. Excuse me. So I'm just rolling it on Roll20. For 3 damage as the spear pierces him, but he still stands, a little more wounded than before. The spear kind of piercing into his side, causing bleeding. It appears like he's got more protection, though, from that first spear. You would recognize magic, and the first thrust with the spear by Mikey, his compatriot finding home, but Mikey missing, you see it glance off of what realistically would have been a blow to a man with no protection. God, what does he do?
He dies like a bitch, right?
No, he's gonna do something. I just don't know. You've caught him very much off guard here. See, I had a plan for him, but this doesn't work anymore. I had a plan, but he can't really do anything else. Okay. He goes to bite Mikey in the throat, attempting to chew through Mikey's skin. Oh my, okay. You see him bite into Mikey, improvising this, very much so. Okay, it's the first time Mikey's been hit, I believe, so I need to roll his HP. Pray for Mikey as he takes 3 points of damage. He bites into Mikey with his teeth, grabs his kind of like shoulder, and just... And you see blood pour from Mikey as his eyes go wide. He goes, Eldred! Eldred! And he falls to the ground, bleeding out. It goes back to you. What do you do, Eldred?
Elred.
Excuse me, Elred.
I back up, knock my bow, and just fire into him.
Give me a d20. You get 2 shots, by the way, per round with the short bow.
Do I roll 2d20 then?
Yes.
To expedite it?
2d20 is fine. Oof. An 8 and a 7 does not clear his AC. You miss as you go to bring him down. It does not work.
God damn it.
And he is after this guard. This guard goes... Oh, I dropped... Okay, that's a floor die. That doesn't count. This guard goes... For Mikey! And he hits with his spear once again. Since I am not going to go rubbage for a d6. He does another 4 points of damage as he stabs his spear into the leg of the rat man, going, For Mikey! We will avenge him! Oh my lord. Okay. He still stands, though, speared in two places. He's clearly looking to himself. He's wondering what he should do. And this time he takes a hand and goes, "This will be the last time you betray the Rat King." And goes to put a hand on the other guard. He does not touch him. The guard weaves out of the way as he goes for a hand. You see him starting to chant some arcane words, but he does not finish them as he does not find a hold on the man. It goes back to you. You stand there with your bow. Mikey still bleeding out from the throat. What do you do?
I'm going to fire into him.
Oh. By the way, the donkey is still in this room. It's rearing in the corner, afraid. Go ahead and fire.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your 2 shots. It has not been 2 hours since you exited. Oh my god.
What the hell?
Give me a save versus death. Give me another d20. See if you snap your bowstring. Snake eyes, my god. Okay, what is your save versus death? I think it's a 14, unfortunately. Gotta look at your sheet real quick. Save versus death. Paralyzation death. Ooh, 14. You do not pass. You need to meet 14 or break it. So as you go to shoot your bow, your first shot, you cling your arrow and it drops to the ground. Your second one, you pull back, and your bowstring, you've pulled far too quickly from the last shot, and it snaps. And you will need a boyer to fix that for you.
Okay.
And that is your round. The guardsman goes, going, "A spell, wizard! Wizard, a spell, please!" As he goes to stab at him, and not finding home as he stabs around the Rat King, missing him. The Rat King goes again, trying to reach out and grab onto the guard's shoulder. Once again, he goes, You will bleed for betraying me, elf. Soon the rats will devour you, and I will wear your bones as I do my enemies." And he once again fails to grab the guard. Unfortunately, this should not be happening, but it happens. And it rolls back to you, the bowless. What do you do?
I'm gonna go stabilize Mikey.
Okay. Do you have a healing proficiency?
No.
Okay, give me a d20 minus 4. Wait, sorry, not d20 minus 4. d20, your intelligence minus 4, so that will be your check. You have herbalism.
Yes.
Oh my lord, you actually managed to stabilize Mikey. You go over to Mikey, standing in front of the Rat King, kind of dodging out of the way to avoid the combat. You quickly find a piece of scrapped cloth off the ground. It's very clearly not clean, but you kind of push it into Mikey's wound and try your best to kind of like stop the bleeding, and you think you've coagulated enough blood there that it won't continue, even if you press off. The guard goes after you, missing once again, as this time he stabs again, but just like Mikey had the first round, it's kind of like glimmers off of him as some magical force is protecting him. Oof. But once again, the Rat King trying to grab on, going, "I will steal your life," misses. It's your turn again after stabilizing Mikey.
Does Mikey have a dagger in his guardsman's?
No, he had only a spear and a torch.
Alright, I'm gonna pick up the spear.
You pick up the spear, unproficient with it.
Yeah, man. Desperate times, man.
We've gone back to the beginning of the session. You picking up a weapon you have no idea how to use. Fighting a rat. This one much larger.
Alright,
Go
get it started. It's just a d20, right?
Yep. -4 for not. Sorry, -5 for not proficiency. As before. Oh, no. You stab at him, and the magical force that has been defending him once again glimmers away as the spear is directed away from his body. The guardsman goes, wizard? A spell?
I can't. My magic is run dry.
The guard finds home. Will he do it, is the real question. He's got to... Oh my god. You see the guardsman goes, a spell, wizard! As he looks at you, he turns back, takes his spear, and stabs it through the mouth of the Rat King. The Rat King's eyes go wide in surprise. He goes, Mother, I failed. And dead. He falls dead. Impaled on the spear. Mikey lays in the sewage. Not drowning, but definitely it's gotten into places that are only unspeakable. You look around. The rat's still unconscious. You think to yourself, for only a matter of more rounds here. What do you do?
Boris, grab Mikey, and I'll like try to grab this dude, this Rat King. And we're out of here. Okay, like, let's go.
So you grab the Rat King. He's bleeding out. You don't try and bind him out of curiosity, or you just...
Nah, he's a dead man. I don't care about him.
You grab him. You have your bow. Do you drop the spear and stuff? I don't know how much you care about the spear.
I don't. I drop it.
You have to drag him out because you are not strong enough to do otherwise. You both drag your friends out. You get to the entrance to the sewer and eventually heft them up. And you get up top and you see the sheriff, his large jowls. He goes, you were Mikey.
Mikey's hurt, but he's alive. And we did it. Like, as your Rat King.
That is the Rat King. And the rats?
Unconscious right now.
I hope this puts an end to this business.
It should, yes. Is the Rat King dead or dying, or what's happening?
He's bled out.
So he's dead.
He is dead.
All right, cool. Yeah, we did it.
Yes. You look to the Rat King, and you see his bone crown has fallen off. His clothes are terrible, but there is one thing you see. You see on his ring finger a very shiny silver ring with a green opal kind of set in the center of it. And maybe it's your imagination as you look at it, but you glimmer in the opal perhaps a small tail. A rat tail?
Ooh, I'm taking that.
You slide it off of his finger.
I do have issues with...
You put it on?
I'm just curious, how did this... I have so many questions. I could have asked him, but I was... he's annoying. He's dead anyways. I am... How many more rounds are the rats unconscious for?
Let's take a look here. I believe it's 5 or something on that matter. You were very close to them waking up. 2d4 rounds. So let's roll for it, actually. Give me a 2d4. It's actually possible we should have rolled for that during the combat. I was right. I can predict the future as a DM. So yes, they would have woken up already as you were exiting.
All right, awesome.
But you didn't see them wake up. You were around the bend already, but they definitely, you heard skirtering.
Yep. All right. Okay. So, now this is solved. Sheriff, what's the next step?
Well, I hope it's solved. You've killed him. If the rat attacks continue, we'll have to find further solutions. You're looking for a reward.
Yes and no. Since I would like to speak to the steward of Wakeport.
I can bring you to him.
Not in this condition. I'd like to be, presentable. I'm covered in shit.
Hmm. Well, I suppose you have an inn?
All right. I will go to the inn and visit the steward. Inform him, if you can, of my deeds. Mikey's deeds as well.
The Count will hear of both of your deeds. He smiles, kind of approvingly that you've included Mikey in this. And how I elaborately planned this whole thing.
Yes,
The siege of the Rat King.
Yeah, the siege of the Rat King, and you sent your best. And he was really good, Boris. I gave Boris like a slap on the back. He pretty much soloed the
Boris does not slap you back. He frowns at you. He goes, "Wizard," or should I say, elf?
Elred, the Shaper.
Elred, the caster of one spell.
Yes.
He growls. You can sense some anger coming off from him. You depart, I suppose, unless you have anything else.
No, I have nothing else.
Okay. You go to your inn room. They charge you another 5 silver if you're staying the night. Are you staying the night, or are you just getting washed up?
I'll stay the night. I need some rest.
Okay. You pay the man 5 silver. You go to your inn room and go to sleep. You wash up. They provide you with a bath. They pull in water from the sea, so you shouldn't drink it, but it is water. It's cold. It's not warm.
Do they have any clothes I can borrow?
Yes, they give you a nice shirt. It's kind of like a painter's shirt and some canvas pants.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. Do you want your clothes washed, sir? They ask you.
Yes, please.
Yes, we were hoping you would say that. They take your clothes away after lending you these ones, and they say they'll bring them to you in the morning. You have this ring. Did you put it down in your character sheet? I hope you wrote it somewhere.
Ring of Rat Tail.
If that's how you wish to write it. Okay. Yeah, so you have this ring. Before you go to bed, do you do anything with it? Have you put it on?
No, I have it, but I haven't slipped it on my finger or anything.
Okay.
Can I do some spellcraft stuff?
You need an identify spell to really get a feel for it. Otherwise, I'll need you to describe what you try and do.
If I don't have an identify spell, there's nothing else I can do about it. But something that actually made me curious was that fact that the Rat King could cast magic. Right? So I do plan on going back into the sewers to look to see if he has any spells or anything other than this.
Okay.
Thing. I don't quite trust this thing because curses exist and stuff.
I see.
What if it makes me look like a rat?
You could. A detect magic would tell you the school in the morning if you cast it.
Yeah, I could do that.
But it would not tell you the exact properties. It would simply tell you oh, this is an alteration, a ring that has alteration radiance, etc. If it is magic, you don't know that, I suppose. So you go to bed?
Yep, go to bed.
Okay. You wake up. What spells do you memorize today on this fine eve?
Color spray, right? And yeah, mount.
Okay. Color spray and mount. You memorize them. You awaken. As you go down to the common room, the innkeeper goes, "Sir."
Yes.
A message for you, and he nods to you and goes, "A courier came by and expressed that the steward would like to see you at the keep."
Oh, right on time.
Steward, You're aware of Stuart the Steward?
Yes.
Very well.
All right, I make my way to the keep.
You spring off to the keep, and eventually you make it to the entrance. They nod at you and grant you entrance, and you walk through the hall. It appears audience isn't being held at this moment, and you walk over to that office, or are guided over there. And as you get to the office, the door is closed. I assume you knock, and Stuart says, "Come in, come in."
All right, I do come in.
You see him sat at a desk with a variety of different papers in front of him. He's got an ink and quill. He's writing. He goes, "Come sit."
I take a seat.
It appears the problem has perceivably been solved. We haven't had any rat attacks since, although we need at least a couple weeks to really know if the issue's dealt with. Yes?
Yes, of course. So there's some more information I'd like to speak to you about concerning the source of the problem.
He holds his hands together and kind of puts the quill back in the ink and sets it there. Do tell. I'm interested in the tale.
Your problem was this creature called the Rat King, who apparently was the half brother of your current count by you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes. Interesting. And he claimed this himself, or you have some...
He claimed this himself, and also he did mention his mother was a tailor, and I'm pretty sure you can verify if his mother and the previous counts had some sort of relationship.
I will do so in my investigation of this matter.
There's a ring. I kind of pull out the rat tail ring.
He raises an eyebrow.
I don't know if this means anything to you, but
shakes his head. It's a mystery to me.
Well, I will say I'm incredibly suspicious of the whole situation. The Rat King seems to possess magic, which is not easy to come by.
Magic.
Yes.
Mysteries. There is only one other person who is proficient in magic in this town, and I hate to say who it is. It is our lovely you've caught it. The lovely Vicar can cast spells. Perhaps you consult with her if you are unsure. Although he looks at you sternly. Spare particular details.
Yes, I don't know if she's trustworthy. Seeing as she's the one who harbors these orphans, and they seem to be causing a problem for your current count.
I will say, as much as I dislike her, her naivete is her problem. Her willingness to do the good, no matter what. I hope you aren't as oblivious to the real nature of our world. For if she is deceiving us, I doubt it is malicious to our cause in any serious way. More her trying to protect all life, as she tends to do in the name of Ilkata.
I like how you keep saying our and we. I like that. So am I in? Do I have the job?
Yes. There will be a proper ceremony where you'll be set up as our magi. I will say, be careful around the Count. He does not approve of magic, and he has a very low opinion of elves.
Okay.
I would... Generally, the magi is expected to attend council. I would not do so if I were you. If you are summoned, come. But your contact will likely mostly be with me.
This seems less than prestigious than I had expected, but I understand.
I will do my best to ensure that the court understands your position. Although the Count, he has his ways. You must understand.
Of course.
That being said, your quarters are out in the grounds. There is a small quarters out there with a bed and a study, a desk, a bookshelf where our previous magi resided. We have duties for you to attend to. A plethora of them will require your attention, but that can wait until you're settled.
Of course. Another thing. Is it possible for me to have an assistant?
Of what particular skill set or nature? Old, young?
Young bodyguard.
A bodyguard. If you have need of one of our men-at-arms, I could requester it upon specific endeavors, but we cannot retain a man at your side at all times.
What if he's already under your employ?
Yes, that is what I was referring to. If you need someone, we can send them with you, but they can't be a hanger-on. We need our men.
Of course.
You will
please request Mikey, if you can help it.
Of course, you will receive a stipend if you'd like. I could take out your monthly stipend. And
pay him?
Yes, it would be quite a bit of your stipend. Men-at-arms aren't cheap. It would be roughly a gold a day.
And how much do I earn?
He looks over his accounting books. Well, it appears our old magi earned roughly 100 gold every month.
Deal. Alright, Mikey can take 30%. I'm okay with that.
So every month, Mikey will take a day's worth of gold away.
Yeah.
Very well. I will... If Mikey survives, I will contact the the sheriff, and have him sent here to be a assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Very well. It is worth noting that he is a guardsman and not a man-at-arms, but this distinguishes only who is usually in the keep and who is not, so he is not familiar with the politics as much as the man-at-arms is, but...
Mikey seems to be a quick learner. He's almost gotten elven humor. And that usually takes hundreds of years.
Ah. Very well, I will send for Mikey then. Get settled, and when you're ready, you can come see me about the tasks our liege lord requires.
Perfect. Alright, I go to the quarters, and I start, rummaging through the old magi stuff.
I assume you're looking for his spellbook immediately.
Spells, spellbooks, lore, all that kind of stuff.
Give me a moment. So you see a couple of books besides his spellbook. They're not super notable. One is a book about various monsters of the region. Another is a history book. And a third is a cookbook regarding spells and incantations, how to employ them into your flavorful dishes. And it is written by the previous magi, whose name is Stone. It just says Magi Stone. Okay.
All right, awesome.
So you have 3 miscellaneous books if you want to write that down. It's worth noting you should maybe write what's in this little room that you've acquired outside the keep and what is on your person. Other than that, you also find, tucked away in a chest under the bed, is a spell book. What do you do?
I open it, of course.
You open it. You see the language of magic. In order to read another wizard's spells, you will need to memorize or read magic, so this might have to wait till tomorrow. Do you do so? We can skip around here a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have anything doing.
Okay.
So.
We skip to that, and you see that as you read through this book, it's about 50 pages long. Not all of them are filled. So you should put a 50-page spell book down on your sheet. And as you read through it, you read a numerous amount of spells. The first spell you read is Protection from Evil. It's an abjuration spell. The next one is Identify.
All right.
Okay. The third spell is Grease. The fourth is a spell you cannot learn, but it is Magic Missile, unfortunately. After that, you also read the final spell that you can understand at this level is Pattern Weave, which is a divination spell.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Can I even learn divination spells?
You can learn Lesser Divination, which means basically level 1.
Pattern Weave. That'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The rest are beyond your scope, although you see that there are more pages filled out in this book.
Nice.
Okay. And if you want to try and learn them, you can spend days of study. Or you can go do something else. I know you want to explore the sewers further. I will say we should wait to do the rest of the quest next week, if you're available.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Cool. Days of study. I want to learn Identify so I can figure out what the ring does.
Okay, that is not in your sphere, so you do not get the plus 15, so it should say next to your intelligence what you need to roll on a D100. I'm going to click on your sheet to see it, because I don't know what your intelligence is offhand. You need
19.
a 75% chance. So you 17 or 75 or below you need to get this spell. So feel free to roll.
I didn't roll D100.
Just chill. Okay,
Awesome.
So you learn Identify, correct? Do you want to continue to study? It'll take D2 days per spell level. So for this one, it took... You want to roll the D2?
No, I actually want to identify the ring first.
You need 100 GP Pearl.
Oof.
Yes.
And I don't have the money for that. Yeah, might as well just keep learning.
Okay, so give me a D2 for that first set of days, just so we have a time scale here. As I keep track. That's... Okay, 2. So you'd spend 2 days learning that spell. Learn Identify. What's next? You were brought
Greece is-
food, by the way.
Sorry?
You brought food. Greece gets a plus 15, so you are at
What?
85. I did my math correctly.
90.
You got a 90?
No, I mean, I'm talking about it would be 90, right? If I have a base 75.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, 90. Sorry. You learn Greece. It's added to your repertoire.
All right, I'm going hungry.
No, you get food brought to you. Sorry.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, that comes with your position. Is free food, and water, and this house.
I'm gonna go see Mikey. See if Mikey's doing all right.
Mikey is still unconscious, but he is alive. He's being tended to at the temple. Do you have any questions for the vicar who is seeing to him?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do actually. What's her name again?
Her name is Jalissa.
Yes, Julissa.
She
I keep
is
wanting to call her Juliana.
she is a vicar of Velcada. She greets you. Elred. Welcome.
Julissa. Vicar Julissa.
Yes, vicar. Oh, and I should call you Magi. Excuse me. Magi. Elred.
I'd like to ask, what is the condition of James? Is he getting better? Is he worse?
He is stable, but it will take some time for him to awake.
But he still has the visage of a rat.
Oh, you asked for James. Sorry.
Yes, James.
Oh, James is diseased. I know not how to cure him.
Okay.
Why? Did you expect it to go away? His rat features are still there, and the peeling skin still present.
Yes. Something happened. I'm sure you've heard by now we've kind of solved the rat problem.
I have not been told the exact details of this. I've been told you slew this rat king.
Yes.
Would you like to tell me the tale?
Simply put, like, he was some kind of creature, and he had symptoms very much like James, which is why I was curious about James' condition. Maybe he was the source, but as far as I know, it doesn't seem to be the case.
And he had these features as well. Was there anything else distinguished about him?
Not that I know of, no.
I would say the sickness might have come from him. You see, in this world, perhaps you do not know this, I know not how studied you are in religion, but the gods we pray to are the essences, and they can affect the world in strange ways. Perhaps, I would say, if this man was changed this way, that he had embraced particular powers of the essence. It is said that if one manifests enough purpose towards a directive, they will eventually be filled with the power to do such a thing.
Are you talking about faith?
You could call it faith. That is an apt word. It is potentially the case that one day you may grow into your powers. And as you continue to use and flow your magic, you will grow stronger. You feel healthier and more fit and able.
Yeah, maybe I can lift an oar. One of these days.
Or perhaps you could survive longer. Through many blows you could take if you become powerful enough. I've heard of wizards over time growing in strength. Even the sickly ones have a strange power flowing through them that keeps them standing.
Yeah, I've heard of such things too, but yeah, it's rare to see a wizard that powerful ever. So
Yes, you are quite frail. individuals. The life Vilcata gives you is precious, my child. Please do hold on to it.
Right.
I do hope you will. And be careful in that court. There are forces that do not seek to preserve life in the same way, she puts her hand on your shoulder, our wonderful creatures of Vilcata do. She kind of puts her hand across your cheek and rubs it.
Are you
Preserve
coming
life.
out to me? Like, what's happening here?
Do you ask her that? do you say, are you coming on to me?
Yes.
Perhaps you misunderstood. My child, life calls to life. I would not seek any romantic engagements. All I seek is that you preserve life in your station as Magi and hold it sacred.
I tell her for a second there, I thought you were trying to create some life, if you know what I mean.
Give me a charisma check.
I'm just making a joke. I'm not flirting with it.
I understand. I'm trying to see how well she takes this. That's the implication, not that she doesn't believe you're coming on to her. She believes that you are making a joke, but she frowns. My child, I would appreciate it if in the future you exercised more tact approving of your station.
I just look at her. You wouldn't get it.
Very well. She looks to you and goes, well then, perhaps I'll see you another day.
Perhaps.
And I think we should probably call it there, because I am running low on time, and we've been going for now 3 hours successfully. So
Yeah. Got a lot done.
yes. So we can do XP, 500 for the session. And then let me calculate some rat XP, including the man you killed. Or was he a man? A rat man? So you killed 5 swarms on the one at the beginning, so 6 swarms. So that's another 100 XP. So that's 600 altogether, and then you gotta get the big old boy there, which will add on for 850.
Oh, awesome. Dirty, you still there?
Being offered food. I had to speak to them for a moment.
Oh, okay.
But I do need to go to Panera, so yes. Did you hear me? 850?
850.
So that does not level you yet, but it gets you all the more closer to leveling. And I will not reveal. Oh, no problem. It was fun. You're free next week?
It should be.
So, do you have anything to say to our potential viewers on the VOD that occur?
I hope this was entertaining. It was fun for me. Keep watching. It's cool.
And on that, we will leave it here, letting the townsfolk whisper about the Slayer of the Rat King, Boris. As that is the tale he'll tell. We'll see if you add any more to that story. But Boris is definitely telling that tale. So, all right. Have a good week, Teo, if I see you again. I hope I do.
See ya.
See ya. And for the stream, we'll catch you guys later. And I will put this VOD on the channel for those. Catch us here next week at 8 a.m. EST. Bye-bye.
All right.